personally generated tens.
Okay, I hope that thumbnail is good. And it's not playing. Oh, it's not on loop. This is the Chief Keefing. Yep, Chief Beef. Chief fucking Beef. Okay, so good there. Okay, going back to prototyping.
All right, good morning, everyone. It says LBD, and then if you read text, for you all to see, I might need to zoom in my screen folder, and you're not accidentally opening a different adventure project. Yes, it says LBD2, so you should be able to pick it out, just in case, right? So, double click, opening Unreal, I'll drag it over, or it's loading on my other screen. It should pop up in a second. For you all to see, I might need to zoom in my screen. Things are gonna get.
Okay, so.
Alright.
Okay.
So, you all have completed project setup at this point, and when you open your project, it should look something like this. So by default, it's going to open up to the example level here. And the example level is just set up to show off some of the stuff we provide. The three main things are the dev materials, the ledge grab, and a simple interaction here, just showing off the interaction system. And so you always have something to reference back to make sure you're overriding the correct functions or whatever. As well as you'll have this video, right? You can play it. You'll probably have to load materials. And then if you read the text, it'll tell you like the steps to do the thing, right? So I'll go through all the project files and show off where the dev materials are in a second. Again, if you need to remember the steps to create a ledge grab, then right here, and then steps to create interactions. We're going to do all that from scratch here in this project just to show that off. But the example scene is here for you, right? And everything in the example scene is in the example folder, so you can find the level. This is a BP just to show off the name of the material I assigned to the object. Do not use this. And then there's the example light and button that are over here on this example basic interaction. Those two, I don't care if you use. They're just an activator and an activatable object. You can use them if you want. Do all that from scratch here in this project just to show that off. But the example scene is here for you, right? And everything in the example scene is in the example folder, so you can find the level. This is a BP just to show off the name of the material I assigned to the object. Do not use this. And then there's the example light and button that are over here on this example basic interaction. Those two, I don't care if you use. They're just an activator and an activatable object. You can use them if you want. If I open those, we can see real simple. Let me fix something real quick. Editor preferences. Make sure stuff opens on this window. Great. Alright, so if I open them, we can see that the blueprints are set up to just with comments to show off or remind you the steps to do it. So this is a button, which we call an activator in this project. So it's a child of the activator class. And then it tells you just override this one function, and then you put your stuff, and then this explains what the button specifically is doing as feedback. Alright? And then the light, again, it has comments. So if I come over here, it says we add the activatable interface, and then we just override the activate function. So that way, if you ever need to come back, you can just follow the comments, right? We're going to make our own custom activator and activatable in this lecture, so we'll get to see the process of actually doing that. Alright, then we have the internal folder. The internal folder is all the stuff for people that created this project, put all the core content in there. This is the stuff we are not allowed to touch. So, Do not edit or use anything in the internal folder. If there's a material in there, don't use it. If there's a blueprint in there, don't use it. Right? We're going to use the systems that are within the usable folder. Right? And then splashes is that picture that shows up when you open the screen. It has to be out here, so just also don't touch that. No reason to. But if I jump into usable, this is stuff, as it sounds, that you are going to use, right? So we got blueprints, materials, and supergrid. If I go into supergrid, you'll see these are all the supergrid meshes. So this is your one blockout tool, or one of your blockout tools, right? Then we have materials and blueprints. So if I go into materials, these are the dev materials. So these are the ones you are allowed to use. Let me state that again. These are the only ones you are allowed to use. Now we give you a preset selection of colors. If you need a different color, duplicate one of these files, open it up, and change the color. If you need it to be shiny, change the roughness. Do not change the pattern. They all need to be a meter spacing, right? And that's you get color and roughness basically. But you can make as many instances of these as you need, right? We provide you opaque, so that's just like your basic colors here. We provide you emissive, that's anything that creates light. Remember, emissive materials are for objects that emit light, like the light bulb. Do not use them on random objects or just because you want something to stand out. Build a light source. We also provide transparent if you need glass or if you have shallow water.
I do like
a holographic if you have something super sci-fi that you just want to have the moving material. I kind of don't like that one, but it's there. And then lastly, the one non-grid material that we provide is this pitch black. This is an unlit material. This is not to be used on structural objects. This is to be used for if you want to make a pitfall and it looks endless when you look down. Or if you have a tube and you want it to look like a pipe, but you don't want to make it hollow because that's pointless, put another one inside of there and just make it black, and then it'll read as a tube, right? So that's what the pitch black is for pitfalls and holes. Do not use it for any other structural things. Grid for everything. Question. Like the super grid mesh?
Grid on. That's nice.
What's up? Have what?
I was right.
Don't use these. These aren't UV. They also have pivot points in horrible spots. So, since we're on Supergrid, the tools, there's 4 tools you're allowed to use when constructing in this class. You got the Supergrid meshes. These are my recommendation, right? They're going to be faster. Who cares that you're overlapping stuff? It's a block out. It gets deleted, right? You just got to get used to that type of building. The other option, or next option, is using geometry brushes. So that's if you go up to, well, you have to actually open the Place Actors panel. Let me reduce this. My screen space is so different now. All right, and then geometry is the box, or where is geometry in here? Volumes, geometry. Geometry is this little icon and the blue ones. These are Unreal's old, blockout tools. They're technically deprecated at this point, but they still function. They're still included. My recommendation is you avoid these unless you really need to create a unique shape and you don't like the modeling tool. Note. When it comes to these, you have to use the editing mode, brush editing mode, to actually scale them, or you have to use the settings here to scale them. Right? Do not use transform. Let me show you why. If I use the transform, see how the texture on here is 1 by 1 grid right now? If I put a super grid texture on there, it'll look correct.
Damn.
This will probably only go to one side because I honestly hate these. Yep, that's one. Alright, but you see we got the tiling correct. Now if I change the scaling of this, let's do, I don't want you to watch this way, that's the wrong way, it's the texture. But you'll notice the texture is now stretching. This is why you don't scale geometry brushes on the actual transform. You have to use their actual geometry brush settings. Or that editing. They allow you to do subtraction stuff, which is cool, but it expensive, so just keep that in mind. If you use geometry brushes, they're also volatile as shit, so you could just like lose an entire section that you built out. So if you build something with geometry brushes, save it as a static mesh once you're done constructing. That way it'll ensure that you do not lose it. Have you guys used geometry brushes before? No? Okay. Again, that is my like last case scenario to use that. Otherwise, use Supergrid. And then the last option, which is not by default in this project because it was made before the modeling tool was like full release. It's still technically in beta, but at a full release version. So it's not here to add the modeling tool. You have to go to Edit, Plugins. Over here, you have to type in Modeling, and then Modeling Tools Editor Mode. And once you turn that on, it will require you to restart. Once you restart, then the modeling tools will be here, and you are allowed to use those as well. Even though I'm letting you use the modeling tools, do not dive deep into them. It can be time consuming. We are going for block out now. I want you to do the amount of detail it takes for us to identify objects and the type of space we're in, but I don't want you to go like artist deep, okay? That's why Supergrid's great. It's super fast. The last tool you can use is landscape. To do landscape, you go here, just click landscape, generate your landscape, and then you can sculpt it. You guys have used landscape before? Yes, perfect. All right, so I'm not going to go in how to do that. The one thing that's you're going to have to do.
Okay. Pause it. Or you. Sorry, let me mute it. And then. Oh. Okay, so that's why I couldn't see my my shit. Okay, let me go to my level. Speaking of, oh my fucking gosh. Okay, let me not do that. Let me just take a picture of whatever the fuck you got. Full screen, fuck it. Okay. Okay. Actually, Okay, so okay, fuck it. I guess I gotta go into it. Fuck it. Okay. My fault, chat. I'm just a little. Well, I'm just a little high now.
Not just take one of the ones
So
and
just
dump it
take
onto the
one,
landscape.
so-
It will look like a solid color, and then I'll have to take points off for proper scaling.
Okay, just make sure. Fucking God. No. Okay. Okay. So excuse me. See, like if I do a print string though. Okay, so it gave me like a bunch of errors and stuff. But whenever I do a print string, it will give me the hello. It will say hello. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. It's not giving me a fucking hello. Oh, I didn't fucking. That's wild. If I do the print string from right here, then. Okay, doesn't this have. Pretty sure it has the tag though. So I must be doing something wrong. Copy. Yeah, pretty sure I have the have it spelled right. Okay, it's not the hit actor. Okay, let me. I'm thinking about trying to put a tag on my character. Okay, so I'm thinking about setting it up the same. Like, hit actor. From hit actor to actor has tag. But we'll do the adventure character to branch, and then to something, to a different function with a actor has tag as well, and make that one movable. I'm thinking about doing, seeing if that works. Okay. Maybe I won't have to do actor hashtag again. Oh, and boner. Never mind. Yeah, well. Shit. Bro, what the fuck? Bro, why is this shit so difficult? I've never seen a more difficult comment box. Okay, now it's easing up. So, but hold on, it's not. One second.
make sure if you use landscape, do that, create your own material. If you forget how to do this, I have a post in resources in Discord with the actual numbers so you don't forget, so you don't have to come back and watch this video just to do that one thing, right? Next, let's see, what's on the list? That's all of our tools. We have landscape material. We know that these are the materials we're required to use. If I go into usable, the next folder is blueprints. All right, and this is the stuff we provide that you can just drag and drop in. I'm going to go ahead and show how to create your level first, and then we'll go through the blueprints. And actually, before blueprints, let me show off the ledge grab as well. So to create your own level,
Okay, so
first off,
that's
everybody
first,
just
yeah.
make your own folder in your project. This will ensure that all of your you should ensure that all of your stuff goes into that folder, right? So anything you create, if you duplicate a material like I just did, we need to move it into the folder. So I'm going to grab my landscape material and move it into my folder. All right. So now it's in there. Everything I create needs to be in here. Because even though this is an individual project, if something goes corrupt, something in the internal folder gets edited, stops functioning, whatever, my fix for you is going to be delete your local content and repull, which means everything is going to be wiped if you include it anywhere outside of your folder. Right? So make sure all your stuff's in here. To create a level, we have two options. We can right click, we can pick level. It will create the right type of asset. If you're one of the people that likes this option, hitting Control N, which is the new level, it'll give you this menu. We're not doing open world. This is a linear game, it's really small. Absolutely no reason to use an open world setting. We're also not going to use this basic because it comes with a pre-lighting setup, and the guys that made this project have a slightly more in-depth lighting options for you, so you can choose time of day options and stuff. So we're going to pick empty level, create, I don't need to save example level. When I create a level, it doesn't create an asset unless I've already right-clicked and did it this way, right? So now I have to save this and put it in my folder.
Yo, what the fuck?
And then type it,
New content.
name it. So
Ooh,
I'm
that
going to
sounds
write
good.
prototype here, even though this is not really a prototype. And there we go. So for your assignments, we have prototype and block mesh, right? I recommend you make two separate levels, one for prototype, one for block mesh. Build your mechanic in prototype. You're not building a level. You guys usually don't run into this issue on campus because I'm talking directly at you. But my online folks, you're not building a level in the prototype side. Only mechanic, you're just showcasing that it functions. I also recommend that in the prototype, it's not a requirement, but I recommend you try to make a puzzle out of it. Build an action block. See what you can create with what you've built, like functionality-wise, right? It will help you identify if there's edge cases, or if you need to add a feature, or anything along those lines. The reason I tell you to make a separate level for your block mesh is so you can start blocking out the level whenever the hell you want. But also, if you ever need to go back and see what you did in your prototype level, it's now available. It's not erased, right? So you can always reopen it, check stuff out, and then go back to your block mesh to implement it. All right? So I've created a level. Obviously, it's black because there's nothing in it. And this scale on this. There we go. So let's go back to the usable folder. Into blueprints, and then there's a few assets in here. The first one is the Sun Sky. So BP Sun Sky is our skybox for Scratch. That's a really old project. This is Adventure. If I drag this in, we now have skybox. We now have all of the lighting assets and anything that's about like time of day stuff, right? The one thing you want to do when you drag this in is reset the location. So just hit this arrow. It will set it to the world origin. This will make sure your horizon is just in the middle of the void, the game void. Technically not necessary, but this will give you a steady point, right? All right, in BP Sun Sky, if you have just the blueprint selected, we have all these things that you can change, which really pointless for game stuff unless you want to just move where the sun is in the sky. The one thing you're going to pay attention to is this variable, solar time. This will change the actual time of day. So if I change it, you'll see the sun and the sky will all
Solar time. Okay,
change
that's
accordingly.
nice.
Right? So now it's like
Ooh.
duskish or dawn, depending on whichever you really want it to be. Right? So you can pick what time of day it is. If you want a blueprint to manually edit this, you just get actor of class BP Sun Sky, and then you change the solar time variable. You can change it over time if you want it to just be a cycle, or you can have triggers that change it. Like when you walk into a building or get to a certain segment of the building, it becomes nighttime or something like that. Up to you, right? You can have time of day changes in your level if you want. The other stuff that you can edit are actually in the components of the blueprint. So if I look inside of the component hierarchy here, you can see we have the skylight, which is your ambient light. If you have just the blueprint selected, we have all these. Sun Sky is our skybox for scraps. That's a really old project. This is Adventure. If I drag this in, we now have skybox. We now have all of the lighting assets and anything that's about like time of day stuff, right? The one thing you want to do when you drag this in is reset the location. So just hit this arrow, it will set it to the world origin. This will make sure your horizon is just in the middle of the game GUI. Technically not necessary, but this will give you a steady point, right? Alright, in BP Sun Sky, if you have just the blueprint selected, we have all these things that you can change, which really pointless for game stuff unless you want to just move where the sun is in the sky. The one thing you're going to pay attention to is this variable, solar time. This will change the actual time of day. So if I change it, you'll see the sun and the sky will all change accordingly. Right? So now it's like duskish or dawn, depending on whichever you really want it to be. Right? So you can pick what time of day it is. If you want a blueprint to manually edit this, you just get actor of class BP Sun Sky, and then you change the solar time variable. You can change it over time if you want it to just be a cycle, or you can have triggers that change it. Like when you walk into a building, or get to a certain segment of the building, it becomes nighttime or something like that. Up to you, right? You can have time of day changes in your level if you want. The other stuff that you can edit are actually in the components of the blueprint. So if I look inside of the component hierarchy here, you can see we have the skylight, which is your ambient light. If you need to edit the ambient light, you can. The directional light, which is controlled by solar time. So you can't change the rotation and location. You're instead going to change solar time, but you can change coloring and intensity if you'd like. Then you got sky atmosphere, exponential height fall, and volumetric clouds. If you want to change how many clouds there are or whatever. If you need that stuff, it's there. Don't take too much time with the time of day stuff. The one thing that really focus on is that like actual solar time variable, which now I've lost. Select the blueprint. There we go. Solar time. That's the big one, right? All right. So now we have lighting in our level. And I'm going to save, and I'm going to go back to my folder real quick.
I like this.
And I'm going to ask some Perforce questions. All right, so I've created 2 files. Can somebody tell me why there's plus marks on them?
Because they're marked for ad.
They're marked for add, that's correct. So whenever I create a new file, what's that question mark mean?
Check out. Use to check
Right,
out.
it's new. It's not on the depot. Unreal or Perforce integration right now. It's just being like, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to add it? If I save it, you'll notice it's not saved, the little star, that's what it means. If I save that asset, then it will automatically mark it for add. So that's the thing cool Unreal does for us. If you create a new file, you edit it and save it, it will just by default mark it for add. Yes, I did this. Alright, so these 2 are marked for add. Cool. To submit those, let's say I'm done working for the day. I'm going to go to submit content. Alright, and it'll show you what we did. I actually didn't delete anything here. This is like it moving that asset. So I'm going to actually uncheck that. You guys shouldn't run into that because just don't save it before you move a file location. And you'll be good. It's also making me check out the lvd2.u project, which is totally unnecessary. I've not updated this project at all, so we don't need that. The only things I care about are my prototype level and this material within my actual folder. Let's say submitting, let's say level and material landscape.
Okay.
Make sure descriptions are helpful for yourself. If I ever have to roll back your project, we'll be like, which one do you want? And if all of them are just random shit, it might be hard for you to pick out which one you need to roll back to. Submit that. Great. Now, I want to edit my level. What do I do? It's on Perforce. It's on the depot. If I go to Perforce and I refresh, it's already manually checked this out for me, which is annoying. Yes, I check it out. So my folder's here now. You can see my level, my landscape material here. So if I go back to Unreal, if I want to edit this, I check it out. So I go to Vision Control, check out. If I edit something in here, and I try to save it without checking it out, Unreal gives me this. It says check out assets. It's telling me this is on the Perforce Depot. We're trying to save and edit to it. Are you sure? Because right now, you haven't told anybody that you're working on it, right? So it's giving you the option, like, should we check it out? Are we actually working on it? Right? What does make writable do?
Let's see, like, edited type shit.
What? Yeah. So it makes it writable on your local machine only, meaning you can make the saves on your computer, but it's not checked out on Perforce. So when you submit, those changes are not going to be included, which means you would have to manually check it out after that and submit it. So if you ever get to an issue where files, you should already know most of the Perforce stuff from Des 2, but if you ever get into an issue, just make sure, always checking out the files you're working on. You should.
What?
She about to take me no win. This cat nigga can't even see me on wins.